say bonjour, and you can say hola.
It feels happy and good. We learn about each other, not only about God, Moshe, and Shemot. We learn about each other.
Since I've grown, God's been there more for me because I feel whenever I'm in like a situation or I have a problem, God's always there telling me which way to go.
The world in which we live today is a very different place to the one in which most of us grew up in. As educators, we are feeling these changes all the time. We know that teaching has changed. We know that technology has changed. We know that our kids have changed. And yet the organisations that we created for them to learn in are by and large decades, and in many cases several decades old. Whereas once Jewish learning focused on the transmission of knowledge from a learned individual or a sacred curriculum, now the focus must be on the whole person. I often used to think about Jewish education as being about how I could make someone into a, in quotation marks, a better Jew. And I realised over time that it's not about making someone only a better Jew, that if we really believe in what we're doing, that we really have the ability to make these people into better human beings. And on top of that, we believe that Jewish context, the Jewish values, the Jewish ethics, the Jewish way of life is actually a good vehicle to enable that to take place. And therefore, it's not just the Jewish self that we're really interested in, we're really looking at the whole human being, the whole individual, and their whole development and growth. So what we know about classrooms is that they're really good for certain things, but it's not just a matter of transmitting knowledge that we're really engaged in. So if we want to try and engage Jewish learners, Jewish youth in the full spectrum of what it means to be Jewish today, then we need to take them outside of the regular traditional classroom model and expose them a whole lot of different types of learning that make more meaning and have more relevance to where they're at. The research tells us that when individuals experience something for themselves and then reflect upon that experience, that is where the most transformative learning actually takes place.
It's fun. We're helping people. They liked it. It's really showed me that it's good to be a good citizen even if you don't get something back from it.
Mitzvah Korah has made me think how thankful I should be for everything that I have. So, because not many people have more than what I have, so I'm very fortunate for that.
As kids develop, it's important for us to recognise that a natural part of adolescence is them developing their own agency to make their own decisions. But giving them that agency also means that we need to be able to give them a whole range of choices for which they can actually make that individualised decision as to which path they want to follow.
If we're building on the premise that people are meaning-seeking individuals, then an educator might want to relate to the questions that the learner has. And from those questions, connect the resources of Judaism.
There's no doubt in my mind that as a child is developing, the most important influence in their life is the family unit. Interestingly enough, in the Jewish community, it's not just restricted to the parents, but also the grandparents play a really significant role in the lives of many Jewish young people today.
Personally, I love the fact that my kids, actually I'm not just dropping them off and telling them to go and do their thing. I'm actually participating with them. They see me go to a class, they see me doing Bible study, and they see that it's something that's important to me as well.
At the end of the day, we know that most children who enjoy learning and who enjoy becoming part of the whole Jewish educational experience do so primarily because of the relationships which they develop.
And I want
Yeah. Yay! I'm so intelligent.
This individual journeying and identity development would ideally take place in relationship, in dialogue. We learn interpersonally. We grow from the stories we tell. We grow from the stories we hear. And for us to be able to share those stories in a safe and meaningful way would gain us a lot of ground.
Our real role as educators is not to give them knowledge as if they're passive, empty vessels that know nothing, but really to give them the empowerment, the experiences, so they can go and pursue that knowledge for themselves.
Since we've been doing this low-med program, our teaching style has changed so much. Everything has become so much more experiential than it ever was before. We're really reaching the children in many different ways. The whole living, learning, doing, knowing has become such a part of even who we are as teachers.
Best idea ever.
We're not just educating the children about Judaism. We're creating Jewish lives. We're not just teaching them Torah. We're creating people who live Torah.
The work ahead for Jewish educators in a world that has dramatically changed is to nurture the whole person. The research tells us clearly that a classroom alone can't do that. Together we are learning how to speak to the questions and needs of the individual, to build relationships and community, to engage the family and support the agency of teens, to create vital lived experience. By pioneering new approaches, we'll create Jewish learning that meaningfully engages today's learners.